back to another episode of the Caffeinated Librarians, Mayapack Public Library's pop culture podcast. We're doing my pick for our Time to Cry series, Anna Karenina. It's directed by Joe Wright, who also directed Pride and Prejudice.
Joey.
So he has his favorite actors and actresses, and you'll see those in this movie.
Do you think this movie made anybody cry? Amanda?
Lou, stop.
It's based on the book by Leo Tolstoy, which was published in 1878.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
it
long
stars
ago.
Keira Knightley as Anna, Jude Law as her husband,
Alexei.
Karenina.
Her lover as Alexei.
Because they're both named Alexei.
Aaron Taylor Johnson as Count Vronsky.
That's
Karenina.
Matthew McFadden as her brother Steva.
Shout out Tom
Domhnall
Monskans.
Gleeson as Constantine Levin, and Alicia Vikander as Princess Kitty.
Shout out Ex Machina.
Oh my goodness.
So, what did you guys think?
Thoughts, Amanda?
Go to her first.
A lot of thoughts.
Oh.
Why don't you guys start? Because if I keep going, it'll take the entire podcast.
We want to do Left is Law.
That's true. Left is Law.
Yeah.
All right. I love this movie. This really hit me. I liked this way more than I was expecting. I was like, oh, this will be fun. And then I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Just like, I don't know, the whole theatrical, aspect of it, I thought that stylization was super cool. And I haven't read the novel, but from what I understand, it's like a very realist thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy to take that and run with it in no. This is the most distanced version of it you're getting, but it made a lot of moments hit a lot harder, and just, I don't know, there are visual quotes from Godard in here, and I was like, Joe Wright, I didn't know you like that stuff. Wow. Yeah, all right, that's my opening.
Well, that's it. Fun. So that is one of my favorite parts about it, is that it is, most of it, you'll notice that Constantine Levin's scenes are mostly not on a stage. Mm-hmm. And that is deliberate because all of Anna's life is on a stage like that because he wanted to show...
She's on display.
Yeah.
Yes.
She has to, she's an actor in her own.
Yeah, that blew me away.
It's just
the
so
way,
great.
when there was a moment she was out of line, everyone would freeze. The spotlight would come on her. And, in some ways, that's, it's a pretty direct visual metaphor, but it's still just, it hits.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to come in and kill a vibe, because I'm loving...
I'll be killing it with you,
I'm
so
loving
it's
the
okay.
emotion. I'm loving the emotion. First half of the movie, for me, really liked it. I actually sat there and said to myself, wow, I'm liking this a lot more than I thought I would. And then the second half of the movie, it totally fell flat for me. I loved the affair between Anna and Alexei. I thought it was great, and actually, I was like, it would be there were some steamy sex scenes.
Oh yeah, no, big ups for those.
I was like, it would be Annalisa that picks a movie with steamy sex scenes. I'm just saying, but I mean, really, more intense than I thought they were going to be. So I was all for that, and then I gotta tell you, it just fell flat at the end for me. A little bit. Once she starts going crazy, doing drugs, and
Okay, you didn't even know she was addicted to morphine, though.
Yeah.
well, I knew she was going crazy, but I didn't know that was why she was going crazy.
Yeah.
But it just it fell flat for me. I didn't get the emotional reaction that some of us did, which I'm very excited to hear about.
I really liked this movie. I enjoyed it. This isn't the first time I've seen it. This is the second run through I've seen it, but it's been about 14 years or so since I've
cry?
seen it. No.
No.
But I did enjoy it. I did get let's just say I did get emotional, but it didn't make me cry.
Did you guys cry?
I did not cry.
No
So
cry.
I always cry when I see this, and I haven't seen it in quite a while. So when this originally came out in theaters, no one would go see it with me. So I went by myself and saw it at this little artsy theater in town and sobbed into my bucket of popcorn in the back.
You get extra salt that way.
If only we had been friends then.
I know, you could have gone with me. It's just such a beautiful film. And one of the things I was telling Lou about, briefly about it before he watched it, is the thing that gets me the most with it is you're given these like little kernels of hope throughout it, but then ultimately it ends up crashing and burning for her, and it's this like ache.
Yeah.
And it just sticks in your chest.
And that's where I got emotional. It's like these layers of hope that she has that things are gonna work out, and then ultimately I don't.
You said you were getting emotional. Emote.
But then ultimately it like crashes and burns for her, and then she's in this state of utter like depression because she knows that her choices are ultimately going to affect her place in society, in the society that she's grown up in and that she's established. And you know, they call the women that she knows that she goes to see, they call her a woman of moral and modesty because she's happy in her marriage and hasn't broken her hasn't had an affair outside of her marriage. And then when she ultimately does, it's like the entire world is against her and no one's on her side. And her husband, Alexei Karenina.
It's Karenina.
Karenina.
It's
Karenina.
for women. It's Karenina.
Yeah.
That's the funniest system.
Yeah.
You get the,
I would
the
have to look
female
into the
version
Russian.
of
Yeah.
the name. Like,
I
The names are
love
wild
Jude
in this.
Law's portrayal of him.
I agree, but I found him so slimy and uncomfortable.
Okay.
I love
And
See?
that's I find
Why though?
no, okay. I sort of liked him at
He was
first.
like the most
Yeah.
understanding
But-
person,
no,
honestly,
no,
in this whole situation.
He hides behind that.
He does.
Yeah.
He does.
Because then he hits her with like, it's a crime against God.
True.
Yeah.
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 True.
And
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
pernicious with it.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
likes to play the understander, but
Yeah.
then he uses it as a cudgel as well.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
All
But
his
that's-
policies
She
and all
kind
his
of
ideologies.
She kind of gaslights him though.
Yeah.
At the beginning too.
She's good at gaslighting people. We saw with Dolly.
Because she says when he questions it, rightfully so.
Yeah.
She's like, "No, nothing's going on.
because
Don't
at
worry
that
about
time
it."
nothing was going on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, she hadn't slept with him yet.
You don't have to sleep with somebody for something to be going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I'm just saying.
So I mean, like throughout this entire thing, especially when after, like she says that she's gonna denounce Alexei
Vronsky.
Vronsky. Thank you.
You just count him.
Count Vronsky. What a name.
Vronsky.
Call him Vladimir.
And then one of the ladies of society who seems to be on her side through all of this.
So let's count Vronsky's cousin,
Okay.
Princess Betsy.
Betsy.
Is that the blonde?
Yes.
She was
The one that's got like
Yeah,
duck
I
lips.
like her.
Yeah, that one.
The one that's got the what?
Duck lips.
Yeah. She's
Death
she-
clips?
Duck
Duck
lips.
Yeah,
Ducks.
she looked
She
like
looks like
she knew
she's
about
got like this.
texting.
Oh,
Yeah.
Doug,
Yeah.
why would you say death clips? I was like, that's a different movie.
And she leaves, and
she
then
pulled
of
out.
course, and then Anna has this emotional outburst, and then you see, like, her husband's trying to comfort her in some way, but then as it all spills out of her, and you see just the devastation on his face, I was like, oh. And then when he finds out that she's pregnant with Walensky's child, and he
Varensky.
Vronsky.
Vronsky's, I'm sorry, child, and
Yeah, they
he's
got it.
sitting in
Names are
like
hard.
and he's sitting in the chair in the stage, and it's dark, and he goes, "What did I do? What could I have done
Yeah.
better?" It's like, I'm like,
It has nothing to do with him.
No,
no,
of course not.
Of course not.
But,
of
you
course
know,
not.
There's
But in
so
that,
much to unpack with these
as the
relationships.
guy
Yes.
that's being cheated on, he's like,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do here?
yeah,
And then yes, I agree that he gets a little vindictive and stuff like not a little,
Yes.
a lot vindictive.
he's very vindictive of
but
it.
you
but-
know, I mean at the same
Yeah,
time.
and taking like just the emotional aspect out of it, I also understand where it's like he has all the power in, especially in Imperial Russia, men's property. Women didn't have property. They didn't have anything. They were the property of their husbands. So if they fell out of line, a man could go ahead and have a mistress and sleep around and whatever. but the
Which is what
instant-
we see with her brother at the beginning of the
Yeah.
Right.
movie.
Yeah.
Right, but then the instant she steps out of line, or any woman steps out of line, then it's like, You are the
It's
pariah
different,
now
yeah.
of
But
society.
What's I like-
Let me finish my thought, please. You are now the pariah of society, and if you divorce, you can never see your children again. You're an outcast. You have no family ties whatsoever.
Well, it's if you divorce and it's your fault as the
Yes.
woman, because he has the option of claiming fault in the
Yeah,
divorce, and
he
that
does.
would look better on her.
Right,
He won't do that though.
right.
He lies.
He's
and
got
says
too much
so.
at stake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
won't do that. I do really enjoy. There's a conversation between Anna's brother's wife Dolly.
Yeah.
And
And
Anna's husband.
Yeah.
Where it's the same conversation Anna had with her earlier
Right.
in the film,
Can't you forgive her?
and he
Yeah.
doesn't have to.
No, he doesn't
Because
have to. No.
He's
That's
let it go
his
on for
choice.
long enough.
Yeah.
She comes back from Moscow only to, like, you know, hear from him that you caused way too much attention.
Yeah.
Because that dance sequence, can we talk about the dance sequence for a
Yes.
second? I'm gonna, so everyone's spoiler warning, I'm having a visceral reaction to this movie. I loved it, but we're gonna talk about some stuff now. That dance sequence,
I have answers
Just-
if you have questions.
Baller.
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
ball from,
Yeah.
the whole scene from the train to the ball,
Yeah.
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 Okay.
there is something
It ju-
about...
Even the train, I was like, God damn. The
train looks so cool.
They do a little wordplay where it's like the kids' train set, and then it
Yeah.
fades into
Yeah.
the train set. And I was
Yeah.
like, ah, ha, ha,
Yeah.
I see ya.
Yeah.
I see ya.
I'm not gonna try to get too much into it because I'm already tearing.
Let it out. Emote.
Okay, fine. No, I'll just jabber. I'll just gab. Sorry. So the whole scene of the ballroom dance. So I don't even know where to get my thoughts straight here.
Just follow
Let's-
your heart.
So the whole sequence leading up to this event is like a great setup. We get to see the actors at play who we're really working with, stuff like that. And I love all the way the relationship between Vronsky and Anna because of the fact that not even subtle glances.
No.
These glances are so hard.
Yes.
They're so like they make you feel like, oh, he's like, look at me a little bit. And you're like, what? It's like staring into the soul almost. If one could do that. And every time they play this game of eye conversation with each other, it is just growing more and more. I've never seen a more in-depth conversation one could have with their eyes alone. People try to do that in films where they try to really pay attention to eyes and where they're looking, especially when, like, you know, other people are like trying to hint at something. This is a full-on conversation they are having with each other through their eyes, and it is the most amazing way to do it. Because no matter where they are in a room, they find each other. She senses it. She feels it. She looks up. He sees it. The scene where she's at her brother's house. And that is the prolonged. You know the joke with like Bo Burnham where he's like prolonged eye contact? That song? Yeah. Part of me was like prolonged eye contact. But I couldn't bring myself to joke about it because I was like, Jesus Christ, these stares are so intense.
Yeah.
His eyes are really blue too. Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He's a handsome man.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go into that though.
Especially in the uniform.
Oh my God, the uniform.
Yeah. They're both, they're just
The uniform is so cool.
beautiful humans.
Anyways, the dance sequence. We get to it.
I love a man in uniform, so I
The dance
understand.
sequence. You really pay attention. I had to watch it a couple times. I thought it was so beautiful. I'm sorry.
It was really pretty. It's
So there's a difference. So what it comes down to in my mind. I'm sorry. Let me calm down for 2 seconds. I love this movie. It's a work of art.
so cool.
And the winner of Time to Cry is Annalisa.
This was my reaction the first time I saw this film. This was me alone in a movie theater.
I feel so heartless because I didn't have any of this.
I'm not having this.
reaction.
I wasn't having this reaction yesterday. I watched the movie, but I'm having it today because now everything is just. The world is open. It's all brand new. I'm like, it's like that artwork that moved you so much. You're like, so The dance sequence is so interesting because we see Kitty having these dances with everybody, and they're all very different.
Yeah.
It's the same dance, but they're all different, like, tones. The movements aren't fluid. It's like we understand this is kind of like her debutante. This is her introduction to society and everything, so she has to dance with all these people.
I actually have like a comment on
Yeah.
that, and I want to see if you pick that up as well. When she wants to dance, when she tries to dance with Vronsky.
Get this beautiful man's name right.
It's more fluid because, and then she looks like she's more on the stage because it's more of like the fantasy of like the spotlight.
Well, it's
of,
not
like,
just that.
but
There's
but
more.
It's more than that, yes. And I don't know. You are going to articulate it
Yeah.
better than I can. But like, and then when she's like dancing with everyone else, and she's watching Anna dance with Vronsky, because Kitty wants. In that moment,
Kitty's in love with him.
I felt.
But his attention's not even on her, so their
Right.
dance
Yeah.
is disoriented.
Right. But like, and when I saw that, I was like, oh no, oh no, oh Kitty, oh no, and then when she's dancing with everyone else, it's more rigid and more compact because it's based more in reality.
It is. It's
Yeah.
like, and I love the scene when she finally like dances with Vronsky, and everyone stops.
Yeah.
It's not
And
just the
everyone
attention.
stops.
I didn't
Yeah.
take it as just like all the eyes are on her and they're the only two and this is what they're going to be talking. It wasn't just that.
Yeah.
You could take it as that, but literally for 2 seconds, it's kind of like this was like a mating dance between two swans.
Yeah.
And because the movements were that, I don't know if you've ever seen a video of like swans when they mate, or they do their little ritual dances. They do a little dance where
Yeah.
they get close
Oh,
to
yes.
each other and they
Yeah, I
bob
think I know
up
what
and
you're talking
down.
about.
Yeah.
And like with their elongated necks, the movements are very fluid. I don't know if you've ever watched Swan Lake.
I have.
When you see
yeah.
the dance sequence between the prince and
Yes.
Odette, it reminded me of that. But when everybody stopped, it felt like the world had stopped. It feels like one of those things where when they tell you that when you finally find someone that is like your soulmate, it's like the world stops.
Yeah.
And then when the people disappear,
Yes.
they're
yeah.
in their own world, and that's how you know this dance
So-
is not just love. It is like, we understand that the movie is like, we have agape and eros.
Yes.
We have pure love, and then we have like this lustful
Yeah.
young thing,
Greedy.
love.
Yeah.
And so what we're seeing, we don't realize is like, at that moment, it was just pure love at
Yeah.
that moment. They were perfect. They were in tune. Their bodies, the way that their bodies mesh together almost seems so natural.
So I also have a comment on that when they're just together, when it's Vronsky and Anna. Joe Wright did the same thing in Pride and Prejudice when it was Darcy and Elizabeth dancing.
Yeah, I
In
think
that
this man
one
just really
ballroom.
loves dance sequences.
So,
Yeah.
I want to learn
Actually,
this
fun
dance.
fact, the choreographer for this movie wanted to make Anna Karenina a ballet,
Yeah.
which is why
That's what I picked up
it is
on.
like that. And he has an obsession with hands and the sensuality
I
and
love
sexuality behind hands,
And
which
makes sense.
like
And
that.
I saw that, like, I think we both saw that this is like a ballet. It's a theater ballet
And
that
that's
Hands have always been,
CD
when I did
Lardy,
art and everything,
or church
I
choir?
like
Yes.
when I used to like draw and do all this stuff. Hands were like key
yeah.
to my thing because I love hands. So I completely understand the beauty that goes within. There's so many intricate workings within one hand. I don't know if you've ever just kind of stared at your hands some days and you
Yeah.
kind of just look at the movements going on. It's utterly gorgeous. And when you
Yeah.
have long, slender fingers, it even looks cooler because there's so much more movement for that.
it's
It's
just
so good. And so Lou brought up the sex scene with the two of them, and that's what I felt was honestly most sex scenes for me kind of go past me. I'm like, whatever, it's a sex scene.
Yeah.
This felt like becoming one.
It was
two
intense.
people.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
so passionate and
Yeah.
so great for the moment, only to be brought back into reality.
Yeah.
And I love this. I love movies that tear love apart because we always get such happy little love stories and don't ever focus on the parts that are super messy. And what happens, as Katie brings up, Anna is a woman in the public eye.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she does have to be careful because whatever she does reflects poorly on her husband.
Yep.
And so I thought Jude Law, as far as her husband goes, I thought he was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I love the
interesting
moments in the
character.
bedroom. He would bring out her garter belt,
Yeah.
is what I think that was.
No, it's
I
a
thought it was
reusable
a-
condom.
What? Oh, okay, yeah, those
Yes,
those
that
were.
is-
Okay.
it was-
So
yeah.
I love that
yeah.
he kept it so meticulously in this little glass
Yes.
box.
So I
Little
actually
details,
did a very significantly large research paper on the history of contraceptives. So
It's been since around like ancient Egypt, I think they started.
yeah.
doing
So essentially, what it most likely would have been, if we're thinking period accurate, would be like part of a sheep intestine.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes reusable, and you just wash it and store it.
Yeah, all these people sleeping around in the city, they should really think
Yeah.
about that. You
Yeah.
know, honestly,
Yeah.
because she
There's
got
a lot.
pregnant after like how long with
Very
it?
long,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's
To be
towards the
fair,
beginning
the
of their
blue
affair. Yeah.
eyes. So intoxicating.
Yeah.
That's
I'll let someone else talk.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say even that scene in the, that scene when they're like in the field and they're like on the picnic blanket.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, who's gonna see us?
It's like yeah, but it's like even shot brighter.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're right
Yeah.
when you said like it's giving you a little bit of hope and then rips it away. It's like that scene is shot so bright.
The problem is though, it's like there is no hope. This is just
Yeah.
her state of mind.
Yeah.
You know, as the viewer and watching her life, it's gonna be a trash fire, and that what she's
Yeah.
doing is so wrong. But at the same time, you still are like
I
you
was
want to
rooting for her.
support her
I-
because she finally found someone she loves. Who
I
knew?
love the dissolves. It happened
Yeah.
a lot where it's just like, oh, so you see the
Back to
train
reality.
behind her, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh no, it's
Yeah.
coming.
It's coming. It's like these are like
I-
momentary. These are happy moments in her
Yeah.
life that maybe she doesn't have with her husband because she
Got
married at 18.
Yeah. And like.
But
that's
we
what
don't
she
know
said
how their
in-
relationship
Yeah,
built
and
before
that's
then.
what she said to Kitty, because Kitty is 18, she's coming out into society, and she's in love with Vronsky.
She did not get to have
No.
She didn't get to marry
The
for
young love.
She didn't
No.
choose. Her husband was given to her.
Yep.
Yeah. And so it's so interesting to see someone who was not allowed to pursue these relationships.
Yeah.
Like Vronsky isn't settled. We saw that happen.
Yeah.
She was a momentary thing for
Yeah.
a while. He thought he loved her. But this is the fleeting love of young individuals.
Yeah.
Young individuals will hop around and they think that it's love and then go to somebody else. But who knows if he actually loved this new girl or not,
Yeah.
because that's kind of a match that his mom wanted for him. And clearly he loves his mom.
Yeah.
That's
That's
we
it.
all love our
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I was talking to Simona because we're like, I understand Anna's frame of mind, and I really love the fact that you can see how her mind is slowly disintegrating
Yeah.
as the movie progresses. And she's never really sure if Vronsky ever loved her. Like,
Yeah.
truly
She
loved
questions
her.
it. I think at one point Vronsky might have loved her, but
Yeah.
her heretical, constantly questioning of the whole
Yeah.
thing, because he was the one that was like, leave your husband.
Yeah.
We'll run
Yeah.
away together.
Yeah.
We'll do these things. He was down bad.
Yeah.
And she was like,
He was down bad.
no. I'm like, really? Do you mean it? And
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, but the husband knows about this. And he's all like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
do that. You'll be leaving all of this behind.
He'll never
I don't
say
think he's
something.
using. I don't think he's a manipulative individual. I think he's telling her the truth and
Yeah.
what would happen with her status. Is she a princess?
No, so he's
she
a
just
higher up government official.
So she's like a countess.
Yeah.
She's a countess.
Yeah.
She basically, women don't work.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
She has a child that's like 9 years old who loves her.
I feel bad for that boy.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Seriously.
he's looking after a sister that's
Yeah.
not her daddy's. But whatever.
But the fact that he did that just shows what type of person he is. Because he didn't have to do that either.
He was level-headed
Mhm.
about this whole situation.
a very
He looked at
analytical-
it logically. He is a pious man.
Mm-hmm.
He is a man of the law. He is a man of God. And so that's his ideology. And I thought that their relationship in the beginning didn't seem all that bad. It
Yeah.
seemed like she was like, I'm going to go see my, brother. And he's like, I don't get why you got to defend a cheater like him. And she's
Yeah.
like, Because what else is she gonna do? What's gonna happen to her? She's got like 5-6 kids.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Because it's worse for her than it
Yep.
would be for him. He
Yep.
could just remarry if he wanted to.
Yeah.
She could not,
Right.
probably. I don't know the Russian society. I know British.
No,
I don't know
she
Russian.
would be ostracized
Yeah.
and live in poverty for the rest of her life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Although
No one-
And her
That's
children
why-
would
that's why I
probably
call-
starve.
But that's why I called Anna the pariah of society, because she would
So
not.
Yeah, no, she is
Yeah.
involuntarily ostracized and put in isolation.
Yes.
And which is
And-
why she can't sleep, is because
Right.
she has depression, so then she starts taking the morphine and it just
Yeah, it
makes-
snowballs.
yeah.
And that's why her mind is slowly disintegrating, and why she constantly asks Vronsky to reaffirm the fact that he loves her, and that's grating on him.
she's never gone through this
Right.
before. She wasn't
Yeah.
allowed.
Right.
And this is what happens, unfortunately, when I think we see it even in today. This movie can really be a message for today too. We have a
Yeah.
lot of the generations that we have that can't experience childhood because of certain situations and circumstances. We're
Yeah.
too busy trying to think about the future that we don't allow ourselves to fall in love easily, to experiment, to know if what we're feeling is true.
Yeah.
And unfortunately in this time period, they aren't allowed to either. But that's the beauty of Vronsky's character, is that he's young, he's not tied down, he can continue
Yeah.
to find someone new and to test it out and be a player if he wants to. He's figuring out what he likes.
Yeah.
Anna found the first guy that made beautiful blue eye contact with her.
Yeah.
I mean, Jude Law's just got these cold, calculating blue eyes, but
Yeah,
he
they-
got these big old bright blue eyes,
Yeah.
like pools. Just
Yeah.
Pools
diamonds
in
in
the
his
soul.
eyes. Sorry, they're really intense.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I know they're contacts.
No,
Yeah,
those are his eyes. Yeah. Those are his
I'm
eyes.
gonna watch Bullet Train again. Stare deeply into Aaron Taylor Johnson's eyes. I'm sorry.
But just before Simona goes, I just wanted
Please
to
let
say,
Simona
like,
go.
I love the juxtaposition between Anna and Kitty, because you kind of see the selfish love of Anna and like the pure love of Kitty, because Kitty
that's
ultimately does get to marry for love.
Yeah.
Which is like the antithesis. It's like you see two separate ends of a love
yeah.
story.
The two main characters in this are Konstantin Levin
Yeah.
and Anna Karenina. And
Yeah.
Levin marries Kitty. He's in love with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I questioned
Kitty,
whether
yeah,
she
yeah.
was in love with him.
But he
Yeah.
got rejected, and what ended up happening is that he lived his life for the people.
Yeah.
He lived his life. He did the opposite
Yeah.
of Anna. He
Yeah.
became selfless,
Which
Yeah.
is why
instead
he
of
gets a
taking
happy
it
ending.
for himself.
Mm-hmm.
He went out and then ended up catching the heart of Kitty.
Can I just
Yeah.
say the scene where they were playing like romantic Wordle?
Oh, it was
Yeah.
so
That
annoying.
was great.
So pretty.
It
That
made
was
me
great.
feel really stupid. I can't figure this
Yeah, I
out.
was like, what are they trying to say?
Yeah.
I actually had a similar reaction. I was like, my God,
Yeah.
I would
that.
never
Yeah.
have the brains to like do it. I loved that moment. That was a
Yeah.
good moment. I was like,
Romantic
I was like, these two
Yeah.
are.
If I'm at a table with somebody and they're doing that, I'm gonna be like, what?
I love it. It is the most.
was
It's
really
a moment between
beautiful
them.
and
Yeah.
In that
romantic
words,
and-
it's
yeah.
like just these simple words.
Yeah.
Answer the questions that they had had. And
Yeah.
I love that.
And the fact
I
too,
want romantic moments like these.
and like I
I
feel
was
like
robbed.
too, like how Vronsky and Anna have that connection with their eyes, and that throughout the beginning of the movie. Constantine and I feel like Constantine and Kitty in that small moment had the same exact experience, only with very different results.
Of course,
Yeah.
because it was they gave it time.
Yes.
Their relationship was time,
Mm-hmm.
and patience, and work.
Yeah.
He allowed Kitty to essentially experiment and get her heart broken by someone who is a dirty cheater.
Yeah. Yeah.
A hot dirty cheater, but whatever. I understand.
I liked when Steve rolled up and he was like, I don't feel bad for you. I feel bad for Kitty.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Simona, I'm sorry. You can go ahead.
Take it from me.
yeah, that's fine.
Oh.
So as someone who is unfamiliar with the source material, so the book, I thought the movie didn't do a good enough job of really giving me the culture or even the historical context in which the characters are living and what's exactly taking place. So, like, there are some hints about maybe class, like, basically the disparities. Like, I was thinking specifically about the guy that is, like, drenched in coal and is, like, testing the train, or he's doing something with the train, and he's the one that gets killed by the train.
Tapping the wheel.
Yeah, but still, it's like, okay, even about Levin, like, why should I care about him? Why should I care about his desire that he knows he's aristocratic, but he has this guilt about being aristocratic, so he wants to be one of the people, but he's really not one of the people? Like, I don't care. I wish he would have gotten over his revulsion of his brother's wife. Get over it. She was a prostitute. You're not married to her.
There's more to it that I think she's also a gypsy.
Yeah, I understand it, but
they mentioned
get
that
over it.
beginning.
You know, like, get it together. Your brother is it. Just get over it. Like, I just want to, like, shut up. Like, it was just bothering me. Like, get over it. Anna, okay. Now, I understand that Anna was in an unhappy marriage, but I'm going to try to frame this. I didn't feel pity for her because what happens to her is a result of the choices she willingly made. Now, I don't know the book. I don't know if her husband is really this deviant. I don't know if he's
He's
yeah.
He's
No.
not a man of God.
You can still be a man of God and be a deviant.
He's not
He
a
was
deviant.
not. He was the
He's
most...
a very analytical and logical human.
Yeah.
However, in the book, he agrees to give her the divorce and take fault, but then talks to a psychic from France and decides not to.
Okay,
Man, let me
but
tell you, if everyone told me a story about
that's the
psychic
book.
to
But
change
if
your
I'm
mind.
Frenchies.
if I'm just going based on the film, I don't know that. I know that he is a very righteous man. He is a
Yes.
man of principles, which is not wrong. Like, it's almost made like, oh, he's right to be principled. He may not be the passionate lover that she wants, but he's a man who has taken care of her. He's taking care of their child, and frankly, she's cheating on him. So, boo-hoo-hoo. I don't care. I'm sorry. I don't. Like, I know you're supposed to because, like, oh, this... I understand.
I don't think you're supposed to agree with her
But it's
choice,
like-
but to understand
No,
her
I
choice.
understand why she makes it. Like, I understand she feels trapped. I understand because of her class, she has zero options for a life outside of marriage. I understand that. The moment when she breaks down in the cafe, Keira Knightley does a terrific job. I felt for her in that moment, and I love that her sister-in-law was there because her sister-in-law was not judging. I love that moment. But at the same time, I can't condone or even sympathize with what she's done.
But
now,
if,
yes, the
if he is trapped, I mean, I
Can we
I have a
talk
lot
about
of
that?
sympathy for
She
that.
is completely
sympathy for her, but also the fact of the matter is, though,
But if somebody wants to escape, like, I'm not going to say you're wrong for it.
Well, that's
Can we
what
talk
Dolly
about
she's
the
still
said.
traps?
married. She's
Okay.
married.
Yeah, but
You
she
know.
doesn't have much of a choice.
No,
there.
Can we talk about the trapped?
Yeah.
Like the trapped
But-
elements?
Yeah.
She had the choice to have the affair, and the consequences are a result of the affair. You know.
But the whole system's stacked against her. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
That's what the conversation
if
her
I get
body was
shot
about.
for
She's
stealing
like, I
a
didn't
piece of
do
bread,
anything
that's
wrong.
pretty bad.
No, but I understand the circumstances, but what I'm trying to say is that based on the glimpses that we have of the film, like within her marriage, the only indication we don't have the indication that he's manipulative or abusive verbally or physically. We know that he's an
He's a good
uptight
man.
stick in the mud. Okay, fine, I get that.
Law.
But that's all we know. If there's
Well,
more to
and
his character,
she was married to him when she was 18. She was given to this guy pretty much as a
But
prize.
the- The only thing I'll say to that is that up until she met Blue Eye guy, she was fine with all
Get
that.
his name. Get his beautiful
Because
name in that
have
mouth.
another choice. Like that's what we're saying.
Right, but she was cool with it. Like, she was cool with not having another
it
choice.
didn't
Well, the
matter.
law had been
It
put
doesn't
to
matter.
her
I don't think
Yeah.
it does matter.
So
I don't think
problem
I
with
kind of
Anna-
I kind of agree with Simona.
yeah, I like I said, yes, she is trapped. But if we're talking, but listen, if we're from the perspective of the husband, he is not wrong.
But what about Dolly is cheated on at the beginning of this movie.
Her husband's a scumbag.
Okay,
She
but
should've
Dolly
married.
Love
doesn't
him,
have
though.
a
He's
problem
so
with
funny.
Anna because Dolly's in the same exact situation where she's trapped.
And so her little line was, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And yet
Yeah.
she would be condemned and thrown
Yeah.
out onto the streets with nothing.
I'm
And
not arguing about whether or not the laws are great. That's not what I'm arguing. What I'm saying is, listen, Yes, life sucked if you were a woman of a particular class, especially since you had no other options. I'm not arguing
Simona,
about
are
that.
you telling
Yeah,
me that
but
if
I'm
a
gonna
man
argue
with beautiful
for-
blue
I'm
eyes
gonna
and a
argue for the pursuit of
sexy
happiness
Russian
with
military
that
uniform
terrible
walked up to
society
you,
as opposed to,
you wouldn't
like,
try?
you should be punished for breaking the rules.
would.
Yeah.
I'd die for this man.
Listen, when Vronsky asked her, let's go, she should have then went at that point. Okay,
But she would
fine.
have never saw her son again. Like, I understand
So-
that, yes, she loses custody later on, but she's also, like, you have to she has motherly love as well as this passionate love for Vronsky. She's still a mom.
That's why
Yeah.
she
Loves her
stays.
kids. Exactly.
And that's exactly.
That's the threat. That's
You
kind of
also-
the realistic threat that he gives her, is that you would be losing your child.
So she wants to be able to cheat on her husband, keep her son.
She
and
wants to be happy.
Yeah.
Lou.
Why couldn't they just make a
don't
thing?
know,
That's
man.
why I thought
I
that
mean,
things were coming to like a
I mean,
threesome kind of deal.
I get
Where,
it.
yeah.
I mean, I was all for
Polly.
her. I was all
Well,
for
he
her
was like,
leaving.
I'll call for
But
him
she-
anytime.
But then she
Never
would
abandon
never.
her child.
She would
is
never
the
see
thing.
her son again.
I don't know.
She doesn't
Well,
want to
you-
abandon
He
her
gave her a
child.
pretty sweet deal.
Yeah,
he
he
literally was like, look, all you gotta do, the first deal was like, don't see him again. Then everything will be cool and right as rain and just be cool. Be
Yeah.
cool. And then she wasn't cool. And even when she's like in bed, he even talks to him and he's like, I forgive you. And he's the most forgiving individual
Yeah.
in this movie. I don't know about the book, but in the movie, it's like literally like he even tells her, he's like, you know, if it'll make you happy, like I'll call him anytime you need him. He's like, and he told him, I'll call you whenever she calls for you. Like,
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna have some cool little Polly thing going on here. I'm like, let's go. She can be happy and rich.
Yeah.
But no.
That's it. He's very. That's
But
what
then
I
the guilt
like
eats
about
him.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that it's
Yeah.
eating him alive too. It's
Yeah.
twisting everybody.
Yeah.
Madness.
I love that entire sequence where she gives birth to Anya, the new little girl,
Yeah.
and she's dealing with this postpartum
I
depression.
love that her name's Anya.
Yeah.
But she also had this dream before she gave birth that she was going to die in childbirth. So she's expecting this to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't. And she's now dealing with the fact that I was expecting to die. Now I didn't. What do I do? I have to deal
Yeah.
with all of this.
Yeah, it was like she was expecting to get out of everything because she thought she was going to die. When that didn't happen, now it's everything. She's got to confront everything every decision she's made and the consequences of that decision.
He's
and
taken that
Yeah,
emotion.
time to confront.
And
and
she
it
could've gone with
eats
him.
her alive.
One aspect of like the set design I really loved was just the theater and how
Oh.
it was
Yeah.
dilapidated, how it
Yes.
Yeah. It
because
keeps getting more and more.
Yeah, and it just
Yeah.
drive like I don't know exactly the reasoning behind it, but for me it just kind of drove. I'm like, oh, these are totally ghosts, and like
Yeah.
give it 30, 40 years. The whole society is going to be
Yeah.
dismantled,
Exactly.
rebuilt.
Yeah. Yep.
None of this will
There'll be
ever
a new
matter
stage.
again. Their mansions will be seized, like, and
Yeah.
it's just like, oh my god, like
The Romanovs
wild.
will be massacred.
Yeah.
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 No.
I want to kind of go back to like Simona, like bringing up the feelings of being trapped. Joe also brought it up
Yeah.
and talking about the set design for this whole thing. There is the scene when Vronsky leaves and she holds onto the glass
Mhm.
window. I love the sequences with the glass.
Yeah.
There's the ones
Yeah.
where she's talking to him, like she sees him through the glass and she's talking to him through the glass. It's almost as if the persona that we're seeing in there is what she wants to be.
Yeah.
That is the fantasy realm. And like him looking back at her and then leaving in the glass, it's like these are true intentions.
Yeah.
It's so gorgeous. But the feelings of being trapped are so represented by this stage because it's so small. You are limited
Yeah.
by these things. And so that's what makes like Constantine's story so interesting, is that the beginning of the movie, after he's rejected, the stage opens up.
Yeah,
And
and
he's
he
free to go
walks
wherever he
out
wants. She, on the
into
other hand, the
reality.
stage never opens up. It is always closed. She is always inside. She can't get out. And that's what makes that scene when he leaves the house after she's having her meltdown
Yeah.
and she holds onto the glass. She can't leave.
Yeah.
She can't do anything. There's nothing that she can think of that would solve this problem. And all
Yeah.
she can do is look out the window while he is able to be free.
Yeah.
She can't do it. And it's
That's what gets me.
Yeah.
it's I love the sets in this movie. They're so pretty. They're so cool. I'm sorry.
I'm a sucker for just like seeing them be set up. as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I like
It's
that
just-
stuff.
It's so good.
Beautiful.
And it's like when she's having these moments with him, they're not so enclosed. I love the forest scenes because it's literally just like
Yeah.
Yeah.
just like stupid little wooden trees. And
Yeah.
like everything was
I-
so artfully done in this film.
There's a very tiny thing, but like
Oh,
during
tiny.
scenes when like they shine the spotlight on her,
Yeah.
you know, she's
Yeah.
being singled out. Or,
It's her, yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
but like her
Everybody's
jewelry
watching.
creates these lovely little lens flares,
Mm-hmm.
and
What did you think about the racing scene?
that was
That
nuts.
was
Yeah,
so
that was-
dope.
that was
Oh
so
my
crazy.
god.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that the instant he falls on the he falls off
Off
the
the
horse
stage.
and
Yeah,
off
it
the
was so
stage,
good.
and she
His
yells
whole-
out Alexi, and
Her
everyone
husband's there, and he's like, I'm
is
here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
noticed.
It's
with
coincidental that they
Tupac.
have the same name. It
Tupac
worked out
was
in her
like,
favor.
I'm right here. I'm like, she ain't talking to you, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, she-
No.
But like
But-
everyone becomes very still, and it's just her having this reaction of worrying about him and no one else, even though her husband is there and moving with her.
I think his whole attitude changes in that one instance.
Oh,
He has been
absolutely.
demasculated.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
absolutely.
got this beautiful pure, which first off, he got a pure white horse. And did anybody notice that the gift that she gives her son is a white horse puppet?
Yes.
Yeah.
First off, oh god, that wasn't for her son. That was
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah.
That was her thing. Girl. But that horse scene is so intense. She screams Alexi. Everyone's quiet and they all look at her.
Yep.
Thank God her husband was there and he's like, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. So it makes her look like she's hysterical that the horse maybe got hurt.
Yeah.
And she's just having
A meltdown.
womanly emotions about an animal.
She's being
Am I right?
hysterical.
Hysterical. That was such an interesting scene. Who thought about a horse race in a theater?
Yeah.
And it wasn't crappy looking either. They ran off in the scene where you see behind the scenes, almost behind the
It
curtain, where it's
was-
black and
it
white
was-
with
it
the
was
ro-
bizarre.
It's
Oh.
it's so
Yeah.
cool. It's
Yeah.
just and then he falls off the stage because you thought you saw him backstage, but and that's what it's supposed to make you. I love that. It's
Yeah.
such an interesting use of like a theater stage. Just
One more time, Amanda.
It is a, it
down
is a
with the
really cool
sickness.
scene.
Okay, this is not a real critique. This is just something I thought was very funny. All the Russians in this movie are like the most English people alive.
Yeah.
They always are.
Yeah,
And when they do a
always
French
are.
movie, they're not French, they're English.
I had the same conversation with Annalise.
It's
Yeah.
just funny. It's just
It's
like,
like-
come on, Matthew McFadden is not a Russian man.
No.
Not even close.
No.
You can give him this mustache all you like, but
I can forgive it for
I
this
thought he
movie.
was great in that role
I
as
love
Eva,
him.
though. He was so good.
Yeah.
But I love the scene with the horse race because it is, there's so many things happening in that scene.
Yeah.
Because the only things he cares about in his life are his horse, Frou Frou, and Hannah.
Such an awful
He
name
in the
for a
way he
horse.
touches the horse
Yeah.
was so sensual and so fascinating to me. I think my favorite part of this movie has been the the mannerisms. Well, it's kind of like how he views Anna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that she is this thoroughbred, high class lady. That horse was supposed to be like a thoroughbred horse. It's pure white and the white of innocence.
Yeah.
And that he is caressing the innocence in this relationship. And unfortunately, it foreshadows the events of the whole thing where eventually someone has to die.
Yeah.
And when its back is
His
broken.
fault.
And it's
Yeah.
his fault, and I think he really starts to feel that. Like the scene when she invites the boat, when she's like, "Where's Alexi? Where's Alexi?" and she's like,
Yeah.
"I'm dying in bed." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And they're both together, the two men. Like Jude Law allows him to be there, and he even sees the hurt and the damage that this has caused. And it's not like he's like, "I told you so,"
Yeah.
but he's like, "I told you so." But he's like, "Well, I'm gonna see this through." Maybe you could say that her husband was a manipulator, and he allowed for the whole thing to happen instead of just like nipping it in the bud and being like going up to him and be like, "Yo, get the frick away from my wife."
Yeah.
No, he allowed it to happen. He stood there, watched it as it downplayed, and I think that it was supposed to be a teachable moment. Like,
Yeah.
don't do this again. Maybe don't. See how you're feeling? That sucked. Maybe don't do that again.
Yeah.
Why don't we live a happy life and forget this whole thing ever happened? No. No. Anna now got the thing that she wanted, and it is devastating.
Yeah.
We have 2 love stories, or 3 if you want to count her husband. Like, there's a really cool image online where they have like 3 sets. It was like a promotional poster thing where you have Kitty and Konstantin in one, you have Vronsky and Anna in one, then you have just Karenina alone in his house, which makes me sad because I thought he was a good man. He was really nice.
So at the very beginning,
Just gonna keep
for
saying
me,
that.
I always pictured him as like this very unattractive,
It's Jude
very. I know.
How dare you? Now I'm gonna
He's
read
an
this book and be
attractive
like,
man,
Jude Law.
But he's unappealing.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
There's-
beautiful.
Yeah.
And then, like, by the end, you realize, oh no, he's actually
Yeah.
a good man. That
He
is-
let her do whatever she kind of wanted to do,
which is
as
what
long
he
as
does
she.
in the book too
Yeah.
is you can continue.
Do your
but
thing, girl.
We need to keep up appearances in public.
Yeah.
Yeah, do your thing.
And she doesn't do
That'd be
that.
cool.
Yes, it's very
Yeah.
hard to though. To
It can be. Yeah, and I think Anna does struggle.
Yeah.
She does a very good job, but she does struggle
yeah.
with it. And, you know, it's not to say that she's not an impressionable girl.
Yeah.
I really think she is, because I don't think she would have had those thoughts had Vronsky's mama been
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
well, you know, she's like, didn't you regret it? And she's like, I'd regret it if I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And found out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just a metaphor for life too. Sometimes you regret the things you don't do, and sometimes it's a really painful experience, and it's
Yeah.
it's up to you whether or not you want to learn from these experiences or just be crushed by the weight.
Yeah.
But back to the love story. We have a love story between Konstantin and Kitty, which is patience, diligence, and love being formed over due time. So that way they can actually figure out what Kitty wants.
Yeah.
Konstantin know what he wants, but he also wanted to be grounded. He's grounded in the people, and so then he can be a good leader to his people or whatever he wants to do. I think he's the head of his
He
whole
owns
thing.
property.
He owns property, but he's respectable amongst the people, not these evil, cheating, rumor, gossipy societies.
Yeah.
And I think Kitty ultimately realized that that's what the society has done. It has damaged like her friend, and she has watched what quick, easy love can
Yeah.
accomplish, and she suffered death, which was poetic with the train. First off, I had a little issue with the train, which is she fell down right away, and it didn't hit her when the train was already moving, and then it went.
Yeah.
She got domed.
She got-
Yeah.
It's like, damn.
But I absolutely love stories that show the downside and the messy nature of them. We have all these beautiful love stories being written and all these beautiful love movies being shown where it's like everybody gets what they want.
Yeah.
And, you know, they go through a little bit of a struggle, but it's an easy to overcome struggle.
Yeah. It's
This is not
reality.
easy. This
No.
is not acceptable. This is not just. This is not pure love. And who's to say that it isn't at the same time?
Yeah.
This story is such a philosophical conundrum in which it's like, what is love? What are we doing with love? I took this whole class on philosophy of love, and it was mind-boggling where it's like, at one point in this movie, they talk about how Anna talks to Dolly about her brother being an animal. It's the animal of lust. It's like he didn't love the governess. He just wanted to ride that. And it didn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And as he's called it, a distraction.
Yeah.
This could also have
And
been a
also
distraction, but
because-
it wasn't.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to
Yeah, no, you're good.
interrupt you.
Please, I'll cry.
Because like for as far as we know,
Please shut me
Shiva
up.
has only done this. Has only.
Oh no, he's done it more than once.
Who?
Okay. Well, I mean.
Siva.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
He's done it more than once.
Yeah, and like
He
she
has
says
no
at the end, like,
remorse.
he hasn't changed.
No.
He has no desire because he's not.
He just got caught once.
Right. I mean, but like as far as the movie is concerned, the book is a different story.
Oh no! In the movie, he says he's.
Yeah, he says at the end too
Okay,
that he
then-
found a new one. Yeah.
Then I guess
Yeah.
I missed it. at
He's
some point.
no remorse. I love
Because-
him. He's funny, but he's
So,
no
okay, so
remorse.
my thought is not Not that it's not valid, but it's because I didn't hear that part. So
Yeah,
never
you're
mind.
good. You're good.
Yeah,
No,
he
he's
does
he's
not-
perpetual.
Yeah, he's not remorseful.
He literally goes to all these balls, and you see him sneaking off with a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like almost all there's a scene where she like they're
I guess
at
this is like the first time that she's caught him. If,
Yeah,
yes,
it's the
she-
first time
because
she's
the
caught
woman
him.
left a note,
yeah. The governess
and that's why
left a
she
note.
was crying, and he's like, "Oh."
What I like about this movie is that it shows how messy love is and how sometimes it doesn't work. You can't be happy. It's not going to work out well.
Yeah.
And is love worth that? Is the happy
They bring up that
moments-
point all the time. Would you be willing to die
Yes.
for love? That is said so many times in this film. Like that's the driving message of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's...
She did.
She was trapped and she was forcibly ostracized and isolated, and all she had left was him, and she felt like he was slipping too and she had nothing left, and the only way she could get free was by death. And it's beautiful and sad and messy, and
Yeah.
It's poetic.
Russian
Yes.
literature. Hey.
it's like
I love.
chef's kiss. I love morphine's always there somewhere. Morphine.
Well, must have just really sucked to live there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Like,
want to live here. If the costumes look like this,
Yeah, it was
I
just
want to
beautiful.
see the men in hot
So,
military uniforms.
what are we rating this out of?
trains,
I thought about frou-frous too.
frou-frous.
Let's do fruit.
Morphine.
Okay. Yeah, out of how many bottles of morphine?
99 bottles of morphine on the wall.
So, okay. We could go out of pocket and do morphine with it. Or we could do
Look,
frou-frous.
I don't need.
So, frou-frous, sure.
Okay.
Frou-frou, I'm going to say 3 out of 5 frou-frous because there were aspects of it I liked. Like I said, it fell flat for me at the end. I got to tell you, though, this conversation, 5 out of 5, guys. I love the energy. Love the energy. Amanda's balling over here. Simona's coming with it. Even though we disagreed with, I love the disagreement. It's good. Led for good conversation. 5 out of 5 conversation here today, guys. Keep
5
it
out
up.
of 5 morphine bottles.
5 out of 5 morphine bottles.
Okay. So I was gonna give this a lower score, but after talking about this with everybody and like just thinking more about the movie, I'm gonna
Just
give
going even
this
lower.
5 out of 5 frou-frous.
Please
For
come
Bruce
to
the
me last.
horse.
I'm collecting my thoughts.
Frou-frous.
Come back to me last.
4.5 trains. So
Yeah.
we're getting wild on here. We're doing freeform.
Yeah, I'd give it 3. 3 frou-frous.
For the first time on this podcast, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. Solely for the
Wow.
fact that all
first
my
5 from
senses
Amanda.
are open on a movie. There's so many details in this movie that are so awesome. It's a beautiful piece of art. The music, my favorite part of this movie is honestly just the movements of everybody is so meticulously thought out, from the cigarette smoking to the pursing of their lips. Everything is so beautifully melded together as one intricate dance. So it is a ballet. I see it. It is so heart-wrenching. I would not cry from the plot alone, but because the film has made me viscerally unable to eat, because I keep thinking about it, and also Aaron Taylor Johnson, really good-looking guy. God, he's really in there right now.
In his uniform.
Oh my God, all the uniforms. I just absolutely will be continuing to tear apart this movie in my brain for the rest of the day or for a while. It's all I'm probably going to be thinking about. All my homework assignments are going to be Fs this week. And this is where I am right now. A 5 out of 5, 6 out of 5, 10 out of 5. It has exceeded my expectations.
I think it shot your expectations up into the
My
stratosphere.
mind is racing with every thought I have, constantly nitpicking little details that I may have missed. The whole movie plays in my head like rent-free right now.
Well, yeah, you didn't have to pay for it, so
I didn't have to pay for it. That's
It's
another
one of
crazy thing
those
about it.
movies.
And I want this movie. Unfortunately, they need to re-release it. It's like $6 on eBay. I'll probably buy it.
So
It's fine.
beautiful.
I'll probably watch it. It's like when I was young and I watched like I'm not trying to compare it to any movie, but like how many times I'll probably watch this movie following this episode. It'll be like when I was like 13 and Van Helsing came out, and I thought that was like the greatest shit ever.
Yeah.
And I watched it on repeat like every day.
Literally, where were you when I was in high school?
My mom got that from like Blockbuster or like Hollywood Video, and I was like, "Yo, can we check this out again? Can I watch it like today after school, please?" And she'd be like, "Okay," and I'd be like, "I'm gonna memorize the dance that he does, little dance. I know the lines, everything. I'm gonna memorize this movie, and I'm gonna watch Vronsky do his thing the entire time."
Amanda, now I've got a real question for you. Does this rank above or below Dinotopia?
Damn, how could you do that to me? Above, of course. Dinotopia is not good. It's just really great, and that lives rent-free in my mind as well. It happened. I want people to know that Dinotopia happened. All your favorite stars were in the Hallmark rendition miniseries of Dinotopia.
Thewlis.
I know.
Yeah, all of our favorite stars.
Okay.
A lot of
Dinotopia.
people.
Zendaya wasn't.
She could have been. We don't know.
She was not. I don't think she existed
She's
yet.
squawking in the back.
She's a child.
That's I'm so glad that you loved it this much, Amanda, because
I'm gonna go hungry all day because of you, Annalisa, because my stomach.
your movie made me stop. So I'm so glad.
I didn't cry last night. I cried today as I was driving.
because it.
I woke up and was like, "This is fine," and then I tried to eat breakfast, couldn't do that. Stopped by McDonald's, tried to get a thing like a large thing of fries or whatever, just to hold me over, and it was like, "Can't eat this. I want to throw up, and I'm hungry."
Yeah, it's.
But I
such a-
can't because I can't stop thinking about this because I was playing it in the car while I was driving. Because I was trying real hard to like pick up more details. I just really
So
wanted to see
there's
Vronsky
just
too.
So much
All
packed
those scenes.
into it. It's
Part of the
it's
reason, maybe.
like it's a 20 out of 5 frou
the
morphine
perfect
bottle
time.
train whatever. It's just so great.
10 and 10 Vronskys.
Yeah.
So
I
do you
loved
want
it.
to take us out, Annalisa?
Sure. So, thank you guys for watching. We have one more movie left in our Time to Cry. Lose Kick next. And follow, like, subscribe. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you can get podcasts. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.